few weeks back I was approached by CatZero, a charity based in Hull that help underprivileged children, adults and now families get back on their feet and change their lives. A main part of their programme is aboard their charity yacht of the same name, so they invited me and a bunch of other YouTubers to climb aboard and see what it is that they do.
Well, I'll tell you what, I still feel like a pro when I've got a camera out in public.
Oh yeah, you'll never get used to that.
No.
I've got a job on, haven't I? So Sean, Dave, CJ, John, Luke, Mandy, Alan, George, Holly, Jay, Dave, Cooper, Louis, Darren.
Hey! You?
I'm Mark.
Well done, Mark. Also, when you're talking, you find out things about people, and I think one of the things that has come across from what you guys have said, there's a certain amount of apprehension about feeling sick tomorrow and nerves. Can I say I am probably the world's worst. Where you are going tomorrow on the Humber, I don't think you've got anything to particularly be concerned about. It's not rough. It's when you get ill on our sort of boat, it's when you get out past Sperm Point, and I don't think you'll be going too far.
Just stick your nose out, we probably won't get that far.
Yeah, so it's not something that I think you should overly concern yourselves with.
Never had sea legs.
After orientation and getting our gear sorted, we would spend the night on the boat to get our head around it and get to know each other.
Speaking of breaking seals.
Oh really, already?
I'm busted. Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
The stairs, but they're not.
Well, these are dodgy steps.
Don't jump off the steps.
Someone boarded our ship, maybe pirates. It's alright, we'll sort them out. Oh, this ain't good.
First port of call was establishing bunks.
There's no way I'm getting up there. No way in hell. I'll keep going down. I'll find someone.
No, there isn't. No, there isn't.
There's no more down.
No, they're all the same.
That's it, mate. Right, well. Do you want top, middle, or bottom? Middle. So I'm going to have you snoring under me and me snoring above someone else.
Yeah, whoever's there is really on.
Who's here? Who's here?
Who's there?
Me.
You're
alright.
Why?
Oh, sound echoes.
There's more at the back as well.
Stuff.
We're home for the night.
Look.
You've got the most of anything.
Oh, okay. There's two others coming up in more.
Ladies 7 is, yes, that's absolutely fine. It's good in the ladies bit.
Oh.
It was in the ladies' toilets earlier.
Well, it's suited to that though, isn't it?
Well,
Beep, beep, beep.
run fast. And then you can
We all did the Mexican waving.
No, I'd rather you would me, but she doesn't fancy it.
Like a GPS that positions yourself on there, and we have a system called AIS, and the AIS is an automatic transmission that we transmit our position to all the other vessels and all the other commercial vessels, and they transmit theirs as well. So on that chart we can see what the other vessel is, where it's going, how fast it's going.
No need for the radar then, is there?
We do have radar as well. If it's bad conditions, we'll have a radar overlay on that. So on these charts you can have the AIS, the actual plot of the map of the area you're sailing across. It'll have all the depths on. You can plan your route with this, and then everything's backed up on paper charts, and then a sea log. So if everything goes off, you still go back to the traditional ways of doing.
So the traditional captain log still exists?
Yeah, you still have a log. There'll be a logbook in here, and it's filled in on a regular basis.
How's it going, Danny?
Danny's the co-founder with us, and he's also the skipper and looks after all the sailings, the director of sailing.
Is this your accommodation, is it?
Yeah, this is where the posh people sleep now. So there's crew quarters here because there's maritime law of how long somebody can actually be in charge of a vessel. So we have 2 professional skippers on board when we do a long voyage, and they have to have their sleep to enable it to keep it short. And there's the toilets, all the heads, and that list of things there is what you need to use to use a toilet.
Right, okay. Jesus.
And then up front here is the sail store. So in there is where all the sails that we use, various sizes for different conditions, are all kept in there, and they're hoisted up through a hatch through there.
Oh yeah.
So,
That goes right the way to the front of the boat.
yeah,
That's
to
full
the
then.
bow. Yeah, absolutely full of stuff. Watertight doors, so if we have a leak anywhere we can cut a piece off.
A couple of Navy doctors wanted Royal Marine height from Harbour. So well, we can walk it down. I don't think he wanted to go in the heli because he just wanted to go home after.
Yeah, that there is the inlet for the water maker.
Okay.
So it's got a desalination
Maybe
unit.
say that somewhere is the food store as well underneath here.
We do store things in the bilge because it's cold, but we do have fridges on board as well. Everything that we do in relation to CatZero, if there's a level to be judged against, we'll take the highest level. So we don't really need this to be Category 0 registered, but we still keep it at that. We don't really need to have Port Authority health checks, but we do have Port Authority health checks. So the water's tested, everything's tested as part of it. So we don't want anything to go wrong. Bang, 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 bang.
It goes right the way down.
It's a big chunky lump.
These two are proper on it.
This is right.
Oh, look at the edge.
It's like a tractor engine,
Yeah.
literally. And it drives a big propeller, and that propeller will push us along at about 5 or 6 knots.
This is what I was calling home for the next 2 nights. Slightly separated from the other bunks, which proved to be a good move.
I'm not looking at it though, I'm just...
He's not looking at it though.
Oh, cover your ass. and the taste of your fart.
That's not my knee. My feet hang off the end. Oh, Rick. Jesus.
Fucking dad.
No, I'm not sleeping with that. I'm nervous. You're nervous. I want to be on the bottom bunk.
It's now 6:30 in the morning. I can't remember last time I was up this early. It's not even light yet. But just gonna get some breakfast and yeah, I think we're gonna get the boat ready to go out. I hope it gets warmer. Unfortunately, nobody really got much sleep last night because a certain YouTuber snores like a manatee. I'm not going to mention any names, but yeah, interesting night's sleep I think is the word. God damn it.
Someone do a check under all the bunks before.
Oh yeah, double check that you haven't left anything behind.
After a good breakfast to wake everyone up, we got all our gear on and got the boat prepped. First, for some reason, I can't remember why, we decided to hoist Luke of Luke's Van Life to the top of the boat.
I'm pleased it wasn't Darren who went. What was that? Sorry. Hi Darren.
I'll put your muscles to the test.
Come down.
Someone else want to have a little go doing this?
That means his back aches.
Well, we've got our mascot now, let's set sail.
Recovered.
Well, that's not going to be until like tonight.
Is it going to be tonight though? Are we going to get sleep tonight?
He's asked Manny to come bring his bed down. I'm not the worst. You're the one that can't sleep with a little bit of noise.
Little bit is a little bit of an understatement.
I had to put an earplug in because of him.
All that was left now is to untie and set sail. enough, nature called and it was time to go for a wee in one of the most complicated toilets I'd ever seen. Unfortunately for me, I chose a really bad time to go though. This is when the sales were just going up, so things were about to get choppy. I've got to take a sideways wee. And it's going to be difficult. I've still got to get all this life-saving equipment off. I'm busting. The toilet operation itself is complicated, let alone taking a pee on it sideways. Exhausted. The toilet had a checklist of how to actually flush it, and it was about 6 steps long, including pumping it 16 times and then opening a lever and pumping it another few times and opening this valve. It was the most ridiculous toilet I've ever seen. Turn it. So see what's happened. Oh god damn it, eh? Going to the toilet on the sea is well hard. Yeah. Soon enough, the first person succumbed to seasickness.
Do you think he's going to be the first victim?
He already is.
Oh, is he already chundered?
He's like dead man walking.
Oh no.
Oh, he's not chundered, I don't think.
No, he hasn't yet. No, he's holding it back.
Yeah. I don't know what's worse.
It looks imminent, doesn't it?
Yeah. He would be better if he just got it out. Yeah. Don't be sick. You feel better.
I just took a pee and that's it. Getting all this lot off.
Oh,
just stand and aim. It wasn't all me, I'll just put it that way.
I just don't know how much kilos these can take.
Oh, there'll be no issues with that, mate. Woo! Grab you though. Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you, Sue?
Not too bad, mate. Had your romantic moment, have you?
Oh yeah. Delicious it was.
Oh wow. That's a bit different, isn't it?
Soon enough I found myself at the wheel, or should I say helm, of this 72-foot racing yacht. Pretty nerve-wracking at first, considering you can't see the front and this thing's ability to drift despite its size is incredible. But with the crew telling me where to aim, certain buoys and following certain ships, it soon become really enjoyable. And to top it off, halfway through I even got handed a brew. Next up was simulating man overboard. The crew was going to throw a buoy overboard and we have to work as a team to pull in the sails, help the crew to get the boat turned round, keep an eye on the potential victim and draw him back in. Standard, we decided to call the buoy Wilson.
We've missed him!
Was that a mix of Titanic and Castaway? Later on, as we approach the estuary towards the North Sea, we come across Bull Sand Sea Fort. Built in 1914 for the First World War and abandoned in 1956, this old sea fort's just left to rot in the middle of the estuary. Unfortunately, this is as close as we could get on the boat due to all the rocks and debris surrounding it, so the only footage I could get is quite bad. Drones were ruled out on the boat really due to the fact that their go-home functions would send them into the middle of the sea and the risk of catching the sails when they come to land. But I did have a little hunt on Google and found some pretty good photos of it, just to give you a better idea what it looks like and what we can see. Being a fan of urban exploring, I was desperate to get inside and have a look around there, but it was a bit of a swim and a bit too cold. Now that we'd turned round and the wind was facing behind us, we'd got the last sail out and really got the hammer down. Yes, just advertising the luxury that comes with the CatZero sale, you know. Now this video was just a bit of a laugh, but as I sat here with my cup of tea, looking back on the boat, I realised what this programme was all about and how effective it must be. I, and I'm sure the others will agree, come away with a massive sense of achievement and confidence built up, knowing that I've done something that I could not really normally do. And if that's had the effect on me, then it must have a huge effect on the people that the programme's actually designed for. But like everything, this sort of thing costs money, and every year CatZero need to raise enough money to keep doing the amazing work that they do. And that's the real reason for this video, to try and spread awareness and help raise enough money to keep them going.
We've been going for over 10 years now. We started off in Hull, working with young people aged 16 to 18. Hull was identified as having one of the worst problems with young people who were not in education, employment or training throughout the country. So Jim, who was our founder, did Clip Around the World race, and on that there were 10 young people, 2 on each leg, who were NEETs from Hull. Dave put them on each different leg, and Jim saw the difference in these young people from the beginning of the voyage to the end. They could look you in the eye, whereas they couldn't at the beginning. They could talk. They realised they were as good as anyone. What we should do is run a programme that gets hold of these young people who would never normally engage with any activity. We should run a land-based programme, then at the end of the land-based programme have a sail programme which would last about 8 days, and then we'll have a move on at the end of it. From then the job centre realised the work we were doing was have a massive impact, so we then worked with people who were aged 18 to 25 for the job centre. We thought, well, that's working well. Can you work with people who are older? And we said, yes, we work with people, it doesn't really matter the age. So since then we've worked with schools, we've worked with groups of people up to the age of 65, and most recently we've started working with full families. We work with the individuals and the families now to try and help them identify the areas that are stopping them, to create their belief or create this confidence moving forward. So it's sustainable activities within a group of people who are motivated to try and change their lives. So we have those activities. Linked to those are qualifications. Again, for some of the people we're working with, it's the first qualifications they've got. It's about building on that success. Also linked into the programs are employability skills. So it can be building people's CVs, interview techniques. As we're doing it, we'll show people where these opportunities are. And then it's about having built that belief in themselves that they can achieve, rather than just stopping, about having the confidence to go me, about then seeing the opportunities are there, and then having the qualifications that they can then access them. The great thing about self-belief and self-confidence is they are a skill. Nobody has that great self-belief in themselves. No one has confidence in themselves until they practice and practice and practice. And the more you practice, the more confident you get and the more self-belief you get. I stop myself doing stuff. And if me, a relatively confident person, can stop myself, just think how it can be for young people, old people who have got many, many issues themselves.
CatZero, always CatZero.